I think this will be the last video. I think we knocked this naki out. No use to go any further. If anyone has any suggestions, any other videos I refute, please let me know.
It says over here in verse 7, he was oppressed, though he humbled himself and opened not his mouth. As a lamb that is led to slaughter, and as a sheep that before her shearers is dumb, he opened not his mouth. In other words, we're talking about somebody that basically put up no resistance whatsoever when they came to take him. Right? Now the question is, based on what information we have, did Jesus go to his death without protesting? Well, let's look to the Gospels. In John chapter 18, verse 36, Jesus answered, in other words, what happened was he was put on trial. And Pilate asked him, is it true that you're the Messiah? Are you the Messiah? Basically, Pilate understood that the Messiah is not just some man who comes to die for the sins of the world. If that was the case, there's nothing to worry about. He understood the Messiah as being somebody who is going to be a political leader, is going to be a king, and he's going to overthrow Rome. Thereby, he will get himself off the hook. So clearly, we don't see that he didn't open up his mouth. He gave a very forceful response to Pilate. In Matthew chapter 26, verse 39, Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he gets down to pray. This is before they come to arrest him, and he says, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." When he says over here is God, I don't know if I want to go through with this. I don't know if I want to go through with the crucifixion over here. Right? Please, if it was possible, please remove this cup from me. But then he says, obviously, we'll go as your will, not as my will. And then again, in Matthew chapter 27, verse 46, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. So that's a corruption of the Hebrew, which is azatani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? Again, it's not an imagery of a lamb going to the slaughter, not opening up his mouth.
So Yeshua was trying to let himself off the hook. Somehow I don't even think this is a serious argument. I think this is a clear case of trying to get anything to throw at the Messiah in order to make it look like Isaiah 53 is not about him. But I will try to.
But you got everything to throw that he is the Messiah. Any verse you find that it says pierced, oh, that's the Messiah. It says this, that's the Messiah. But you can throw everything at for your Messiah. What a joke.
Answer this objection seriously. I challenge anyone to read John 18 verses 33 to 38 and come to the conclusion that he was trying to get himself off the hook. In fact, he even acknowledges he was a king in John 18 verse 37. Yeshua has told his disciples over and over again that he was going to Jerusalem and die and be raised up again. He stopped his disciples from defending him when they came to arrest him. He himself said that he could easily prevent his arrest by calling for 12 legions of angels.
You know, the Muhammad guy also claimed the same thing when they were ridiculing him. He says, I can get 10 legions of I can get all the legions of angels. Okay? Anyone can claim that, but you have to prove that you can do it. Did God prove that he can get 10 legions of angels? He couldn't even get one angel at any time in his life. What a joke.
His defense in Matthew 26. He willingly went with the people that came to arrest him. He didn't defend himself before the Sanhedrin when he easily could have exposed the false witnesses. Taking all this into consideration,
you claim that he can easily expose the false witnesses, but that's not true. He couldn't have exposed the false witnesses. Okay, that's your claim, but your claim is not true. Prove that your claim that he could have easily exposed them. He claimed that he was a god, and telling everyone to worship him, that's blasphemy. Okay?
Are you really trying to tell me that he was trying to get off the hook? Now he was standing before Pilate, thereby risking the chance of being freed, contrary to the many prophecies he made about his own death and resurrection? As for the Eli lama sabachthani objection, which is not a distortion of the Hebrew, although the Hebrew says azaftani, it is said by scholars that the term sabachthani is from the Aramaic sharak, which...
Okay. We'll go read this over here and we'll see exactly what was happening. Okay? Okay. The J-boy was a coward when facing death. Christian theology tells us that the whole reason the J-boy came into the world to redeem fallen humanity, especially for letters, he was born from a virgin. By the power, he healed 4,000 people. He has supernatural power. He talked to Moses, Elijah, blah, blah, blah. This is the beloved son, and well, please listen to him. Now, the Gospels go out of the way to tell the reason he often rebuked his own disciples, the Jews, and even the people in general for a lack of faith. You men of little faith. He replied, you have little faith, why are you afraid? Yeah, these who are little faith, we should believe them, they become prophets. Yet, when the J-boy time comes, he must face death just as predicted, knowing full well it was only temporary, and he began to teach them that the Son of Man may suffer many things, and he rejected the elders and be killed, and after 3 days rise from the cowardly faced his own death without any of the faith. He had strongly attacked everyone in the Gospels and back. In fact, we find that the J-boy praying like hell that he could get out of this historical situation. Yes, of course he preaches death, and now when he faces death, he started crying, let me out, let me out today, let me out. A little coward. While apologists argue that it was God incarnate, now these same Christian apostles argue that the J-boy and God are not one, as God has to abandon the J-boy during the Passion in order to explain why the J-boy is now a faithless coward. So why was the J-boy such a coward when considered the noble death of Socrates? Why was the J-boy such a coward faithful compared to anyway, why was such a coward not facing death eagerly, as we find with other Jews in both Bishop Josephus and in the books of the Maccabees? Despite the word the Gospels have given the Christian world a whining and crying cowardly J-boy whose final ways on the cross was to blame God for all the cowardly problems in dealing with his death. J-boy's mental state and actions would have won him a Congressional Medal of Honor, but a cowardly J-boy, is what was recorded supernatural reaching, who would likely have been shot for desertion. This is the Naki's J-boy. Coward. Now, as far as he claims the Shabbatani is the same, the Shabbatani, the scholars, what scholars is he talking about? Drunken scholars? Okay? No, they claim that God was a rabbi. No rabbi would leave the Hebrew for Aramaic or Greek. They are translations. Aramaic and Greek are translations. Okay? The original Hebrew says Avaftani. No rabbi, when he's reading the books of the Hebrews, doesn't read a translation. He reads the original Hebrew. Okay? That's why he's a rabbi, the one who can read original Hebrew. No rabbi will leave the original Hebrew. Your God don't even know the original Hebrew. He didn't know anything. So this proves he wasn't a rabbi. He was nothing. I just want to comment before we go on. If you see on his comment section, you notice over here, probably soon take it down. You see he's debating this guy Funk Drizzle, but you notice this Funk Drizzle doesn't appear anywhere. Nakadomin, well, see all his things. You notice he took off the other guy. His Funk Drizzle, but he's not over here. Okay? Well, he took off all what he said, and he only leaves his answers. So no one should see. Here, you want to show more? You see. See? You'll see. Nowhere is funk drizzle over here. Okay? These are deceivers and liars.